Hi guys, it's Lisa Unger, and I'm super excited today because I am here with Mark Edwards. This is a very special UK edition of Three Good Things, and Mark is a tremendously successful, super talented writer. He has written many novels of psychological suspense. There's more than 3 million copies in print, and his new book, The House Guest, is just out, right? June 3rd, did it come out?
Yeah, June 3rd, that's right, yeah.
In the US and UK
Yeah,
simultaneously?
yeah,
Awesome. Yeah.
yeah.
And so the funny story about Mark is that Mark and I have never met, which is weird. Or maybe have we ever met at any of the conferences?
No, I think I've seen you at Thriller Fest or Bouchercon,
I'm
and
sure you
and
have.
I've heard your name lots. But no, we've never actually got around to meeting, I don't think.
And so one of my very favorite special longtime readers, Connie, she has been watching my Three Good Things videos now for a while, and she wrote to me and said, "Can you ask Mark Edwards to come on and do your Three Good Things?" And I was like, okay. So I just sent him a note on Twitter, and he very graciously agreed to join me today. So thank you, Mark, for doing that. Thank you
Oh,
so much.
very happy to do it. And
Um,
hi, Connie.
Yay. So, and this is kind of like one of the nicest things. I mean, quarantine has been difficult, obviously. For those of us who are always working from home, it's kind of, you know, um, not as big an adjustment, and certainly it's a luxury situation to be able to comfortably work from home, and so many people around the world are suffering. But I always think of myself as an extreme introvert, which is probably hard to notice, but it is true. But maybe not as much of an introvert as I thought I was, because I miss talking to my friends, and all of our conferences are canceled. BoucherCon, Thriller Fest, all that, everything is canceled right now, like in the real world, although many things are pivoting online. But I miss being able to talk to my friends. So this is, Zoom has allowed me to kind of connect and even, reach out to new people. So that's been kind of an exciting thing.
Yeah, I'm an extrovert. I've done the psychological tests.
Really? You're an
I always
extrovert?
thought I always thought I was an introvert. But apparently I'm an extrovert. I'm one of those people who gets energy from talking to other people
So
and
you do? Okay.
well, yeah, and I love going to. But I mean, I am stuck at home most of the year
Yeah.
writing, and I work like you. I work from home, and then when the festival season comes around, I absolutely love it, and I basically just go out and recharge my batteries, and that then sees me through and the next winter. But yeah, I love going and
So
meet
great. I love
people.
hearing that. I love hearing that because I feel like exactly the opposite. Like I have to recharge all year in order to.
Okay. No, I will go to a festival and I go with all this kind of pent up conversation, and I just talk at people for 3 days,
Oh, that's
not
great.
just at them but to
Well, no,
them,
I know.
and and get very excited of being in a room with lots of other writers and readers, and yeah, all the people that I chat to online all year, actually seeing them in the flesh. So I'm really, really missing that.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and I miss it too, even though I'm an introvert. But there's like that time, you kind of in my life, I'm very sort of compartmentalized. Like I work, and then when I walk away from my computer, I'm basically just Ocean's mom. Just my daughter's mom, and I'm out there, and I'm with people who, most of my friends locally are, although we have a lot of, creative professionals, there aren't that many like writer pals that live right here with me. There are a couple like Lori Roy, Michael Connolly, Michael Carita. They're all like sort of in this general area, but everyone's always traveling and on their own thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so I miss that feeling of just being like, okay, I'm not crazy. There are like a lot of other people.
yeah, I know.
It is
It's
my
nice to meet. There's a little group of other writers around here, and we meet up quite
nice.
regularly.
Yeah.
But I was meant to be coming to New York in
July
July.
for Thriller
Yeah,
Fest.
yeah, and because my new book, The House Guest, is set in New York.
Yes.
So, I mean, I went there. I mean, I've been to New York lots of times, but specifically 2 years ago, I came with my family for a research trip and we hired an Airbnb in Brooklyn,
Oh,
in
nice.
Williamsburg, and it was so hot.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
how
That's
hot
true.
New York is in July and
It is
August.
terrible. Yeah.
So, and then we have the Haruka Festival in late July over here, which
I have
is
never been to and I've always wanted to come to.
it is
Never.
definitely the best festival in the world.
Oh gosh, yeah, I really have to come someday.
You need to come.
If we ever can go to festivals again, I'm gonna,
Uh,
really try to get there.
yeah, honestly, I'd say this to all my American writer friends. You need to come to
Okay.
Harrogate.
Okay. I'm
It's the
as
best.
soon as humanly possible.
You don't even need to buy a ticket. You can just go and hang around on the
Right.
lawn outside.
Yeah.
There's a bar, there's a marquee on the lawn outside the hotel,
Oh
and you
yeah.
can just stand there all weekend and drink and chat to people.
Which is
And
basically where all the important work of conferences gets done is like at whatever bar
yeah,
has been set up. Yeah, that's
exactly.
generally how it works.
Yeah, and you'll see Lee Child and Mark Billingham and all of the and Val McDermid and all the big British
Yeah,
thriller writers will be there.
yeah.
So yeah, you must come.
I will. I will. Sounds perfect. I'm on it. I'm on it.
Okay.
So we were catching up today to talk about three good things. This has like been sort of my way of trying to counteract, the negativity. There's no shortage of bad news when you go online. So I would like to sort of try to put something, positive out there. So obviously, writers, all of us are readers first. That's where we fall in love with story, in the pages of somebody else's book. So, and I've never lost that, that love of reading or like that excitement that you get when you open a book and you're like, oh, this is going to be so great. And so I'm wondering, is there anything that you're reading right now that is just kind of blown you away? Or is there something that you kind of go back to again and again when you need to have some comfort or some story that you
Yeah, well, I want to talk about the book that I do. I reread it every year or two, and
oh
I
good.
recently listened to the audiobook as well. And I think I've read it 7 times or something. This is the book that made me want to be a writer, and it is The Secret History by Donna Tartt.
Oh yes.
I don't know whether you can see this, whether it looks like a mirror. I can't tell.
Oh,
And I'm
yeah,
going to show you
that is a well-loved copy of that book.
well, I'm going to show you my secret history collection because
Okay.
I've actually got multiple copies of this book.
Oh my gosh.
So this is the original one. In fact, I think this is a repurchase of the original one because I lent it to my wife and I think it got destroyed. So I bought it again, but it's still very tatty. Then I have an immaculate copy of that one, which is signed.
Oh.
So I met Donna Tartt at a book event in London.
Oh, wow.
And told her that it was my favorite book of all time, and she was very pleased and shook my hand.
Oh,
So that's signed. Then I've got a reissued one that came out recently, a white copy.
wow.
And then I've got the Ark. I've got an Ark which I bought on eBay, and it's fallen in half.
Oh my god.
It's been so it's literally split in two.
You kind of like carry one part with you. If you're like, oh, I'm only going to be out for an hour, I'll just take this first half.
Yeah. Well, I was reading a book about a hiker recently, and they were basically, I think it might have been Wild, that was made into a film with Reese Witherspoon. And I think she basically tore out the pages of her books as she went along,
Yeah, Cheryl Strayed.
Yeah, Cheryl Strayed. Yeah, I love that book as well.
Oh yeah, that's a great book as well.
And then I've also got, so finally, I've got this, which is a box set of hardbacks.
Oh my gosh.
And of The Secret History and The Little Friend. This was a birthday present. It was
wow, that's beautiful.
Also signed, printed.
Wow, it's so like shiny. It's like glittering.
I know. Signed with Egyptian ink, apparently.
Wow.
And printed on really beautiful paper.
Wow.
And I wouldn't read these copies. These are just for
no, those are just to have.
Yeah, they have to be dusted quite regularly.
It's funny. I will say that I will have to admit here that I have not read either one of those books,
Okay.
but that The Goldfinch is perhaps my favorite book of the last 10 years. Um,
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
it was one of those like sort of re-experiences for me where I just kind of got into that space and then immediately just drew back and said, I'm only going to read like 5 or 10 pages a day because I never wanted it to end.
Yeah.
And that when it was over, I was like, I was bereft because I knew that I was not going to have that reading experience again for a really long time. And I've
Yeah.
really hesitated to go back to her earlier books, just because I don't know, maybe I'm waiting until
I think The Secret History is better than The
until I'm
Goldfish.
over the Goldfinch, which I'm still not, and it's been years. But I mean, it was such an epic and
Hmm.
brilliant piece of storytelling, so layered and just, I mean, an absolute masterclass in
Yeah.
everything from plotting to character. I mean, just
Yeah.
really stunning.
No, I agree. I love The Goldfinch as well. I think it's quite a divisive book because a lot of people really hated it.
Which I can't even imagine. I can't.
No,
Yeah.
but The Secret History, I think, is better.
Okay.
But it
Okay.
might be because I think there are certain things kind of earlier in your life that become fixed, don't they? As your favorite book, your favorite movie, your favorite.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and so I read The Secret History when I was 21 or 22 when it came out, and was just completely blown away by it.
Okay.
Um, and lent it to all my friends or got them all copies. And there's something because you know what it's about. It's about this kind of group of cliquey classic
Yeah.
students who meet at this university, which is a kind of thinly veiled version of Bennington College, where Donna Tartt and Bret Easton Ellis and
Right.
that kind of group of
Right.
writers went. Um, and yeah, and it's not a spoiler. They basically murder one of their group on page one.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
I do know all of that, but I don't know why. I'm gonna read it as soon as we get off the phone. I'm gonna read it. I think I have it.
it's just so it's really fun. It's really funny as well. People don't usually talk about the humor in it, but it's a really funny book and so atmospheric and just an absolute joy to read. So the audiobook is also brilliant. Donna Tartt reads it herself.
Oh,
She's
really?
got that wonderful kind of southern drawl.
Wow.
Um, and yeah, I listened to that earlier this year when I was cleaning out my loft. It was a good accompaniment to the to
That's
the horror of my
so
loft.
great to have the different like sort of formats. It's
Mm,
fantastic to listen to an audiobook sometimes, something that
yeah,
you loved because it's like a
yeah,
whole other part of your brain, I think, in some way.
yeah. I think I write better when I'm reading or listening to Donna Tartt as well. It kind of
Yeah.
provides this kind of fuel that inspires me.
Yeah, it's like a recharging of your writer batteries, when you read
Yeah,
something that you love,
yeah,
it really just
yeah,
it kind of does that. It's great.
yeah. So, um, I mean, obviously, I reckon. I mean, there are a lot. I mean, I read all the time. I read 1 or 2 books a week, and I've read some really good books recently. But
But that's like your,
this is my go. I mean, this is the book.
yeah,
It's not just my favorite book. It's my favorite thing, my favorite piece of culture
yeah,
um, in the world. And yeah,
that's
and anybody who watches me regularly on these kind of things, or who knows me, will have groaned when they saw that I chose The Secret History because it is the book I always go on about.
I love it. I think that's great. That's exactly what I was hoping for too, and that's what I've been hoping for from these chats because I think that that's like such an important piece of information about a writer is what they love, not just
Hmm.
it doesn't not just what they're reading right now, and we all get tons of books all the time to read for blurb, and we love
Yeah,
our friends and our contemporaries, but there are certain books that we just as writers we're just in love with, and so I'm glad you shared that. Thank you.
yeah.
That's great.
That's,
Is there anything that you feel similarly about, like in television and film?
Well, okay, so I I don't want to kind of choose something really obvious like Breaking Bad, or I mean, I'm rewatching Breaking Bad at the moment. I've got the Walter White hair now as well.
Oh, is that why you shaved your head?
Well, no, but I thought, well, if Walter White can do it, so can I.
Right. So into
um,
this show.
I love Breaking, but I also recently watched an old one which I'd never seen before, and I kind of thought I'm not gonna. I that it doesn't sound like my kind of thing, but as soon as I started watching it, I thought this is just the greatest TV show, and it's Friday Night Lights. Have you watched
Oh,
that?
I have heard of this, and I have heard it that it's just fantastic, and I have
Yeah.
never watched it. It's a
It,
television show?
yeah, it's about American football players, and I have no interest in American football. I've never watched an American football game. I don't know anything about American football at all. I couldn't even name a single player. I could name some of the teams, like the Dallas Cowboys
Yeah, you
and
won't get any help from me, unfortunately.
no,
I don't watch it.
but and so I kind of resisted watching this show for years because I thought, oh, American football, I'm not interested. But it is just so good. It's set in this small Texas town called Dillon, and it's based around this high school and their football team and their coach and his wife. And it's just great because so you've got the main guy, the coach, Eric, and his wife, Tammy, and the chemistry between them is just, I mean, there's got to be the greatest chemistry I've ever seen between a kind of husband and wife in a TV show. It's so good.
Oh,
You can see them trying not to laugh there are occasions when you can see they're actually kind of laughing, or they're
right.
really failing to keep a
They're
straight
like
face because
cracking
it's
each
just,
other up. Yeah.
yeah. And then you kind of follow all the trials and tribulations of these like 16, 17-year-old football players, and the kind of the women as well, the young women and the girls who are kind of around the school, and it kind of tackles issues like race and sexism, and there's and in season 4 they move from like the kind of rich side of town to the poor side of town to East Dillon, where they've got this kind of dilapidated stadium in which they have to rebuild and build the team from scratch, and they're mainly black players, and they kind of they don't trust the coach at first, and then he kind of brings them on board and turns them into champions, and it's just brilliant. It's just one of those brilliant kind of
Feel good, like soap opera
yeah,
like kind of thing.
it's kind of soap opera-y, but it's really well written,
Mhm.
and yeah, really good characters, uh, pretty good music as well, and yeah, it just kind of showed me a kind of side of American life that you don't usually see, because normally everything you watch is either set in New York or
Right.
LA or kind of or the big
Well,
city.
the cool places.
Yeah, and it kind of, there was also a series on Netflix that came out around the same time called, I think it's called Cheer, about cheerleaders.
Oh
Their
yeah.
kind of cheer squads and the competitive cheerleading, and
Yeah,
it kind
I
of
started
it
that
kind of,
too.
yeah, that was set in Texas as well, and it kind of went very well together. And then I also recently watched the series about Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls,
Oh,
The Last Dance on Netflix.
okay. I haven't seen
And
that.
I've never watched basketball, but that was amazing. So I need something about baseball now to complete the set.
Yeah, gosh, well, maybe when we air this, somebody can recommend
Yeah,
a good
yeah.
baseball for you.
Yeah, I watched
I
Moneyball,
think
and that was pretty.
Maybe Field of Dreams is one that people talk about a lot for baseball.
Is
Maybe
that the one with
Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the one where he says nobody cries? There's no crying in baseball, or is that something
I
else?
don't know. I think if you build it, they will come.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of it, and I've never.
It's
I
horrible.
think I need.
Also,
Yeah,
if
maybe
I'm gonna
I need
watch
to.
all of these things, I have to now.
There's a League of Their Own as well. Is that another one? I can't. Anyway, yeah, but Friday Night Lights is so good, and people say, "Oh, American football, I don't want to watch it," but I know lots of British people who we watch, well, you would call it soccer, but football as we call it here.
Right.
And yeah, who've really got into Friday Night Lights. So it's a really good program to watch during the lockdown because it's not too dark, it's not
Yeah.
too heavy or grim. It's just really entertaining. You really start to come to love the characters.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I watch a lot of TV, a
Yeah.
lot of Netflix, a
Yeah.
lot of
Even,
Prime.
especially now. And
Yeah,
I think it's really true too that character is king, right? I mean, so it doesn't really matter what the story is about. Like you might think, I'll never connect with this thing about football, or I'll never
yeah,
connect with this thing about kids in college or whatever. But it's really never about the place or the thing. It's always
yeah,
about the people. And as writers, I feel like when you connect to, and viewers and readers, when you connect to that character, that's what makes a book great for you. It's very little to do with the plot or the setting or any of that, although that's all important. But it's
yeah,
really your connection to the character that connects you, like,
yeah,
to a story.
yeah, definitely. And sometimes, there are some programs. Did you watch Killing Eve?
We just started it. I just finished the first season. We're about to start on the
Okay,
second.
okay. Well, so for example, that one, I thought the character of Villanelle was so good, so
Yeah.
strong,
Yes.
that when anyone else is on screen, it's kind of it slightly diminishes because she shines so brightly.
Right.
Um,
Huge
that,
energy, huge. Yeah, just completely like takes over the screen.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So you can have characters who are almost too good. Kind of like Hannibal Lecter or someone who sort of took over the Silence of the Lambs, even though he was quite a minor character, really.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And yeah, so you have to kind of try and have, and that's one of the reasons why Friday Night Lights or things like Breaking Bad are so good, because they have that really good ensemble cast, where you don't mind spending time with lots of, when it moves from one character to the next, you
Right.
still enjoy it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, but we're kind of we're rewatching Breaking Bad, and we're on season 4, halfway through season 4 now, and then we're gonna do a rewatch of Better Call Saul as well, because
Oh yeah, which is also great. That's
oh,
fantastic.
yeah, I love that as well. That whole universe is so good.
I know, it really is. It's so, I mean, it's like kind of wacky and super dark, but also,
Yeah,
there's a depth to it, I think, as well, that you kind of really like. Even when we started watching Better Call Saul, I was like, how are they gonna, how is this gonna work?
yeah,
Like, how are we
no,
gonna connect
yeah,
to this total slime ball of a character? And
yeah.
then like you start to like sort of see all of his layers, and it's actually very moving and sad and
I know,
and
and
cringy, and you just find yourself going,
yeah,
"No, don't, just don't do that."
no, but I think that they've almost made him too likable and too
Right.
sympathetic in Better Call Saul, because now that I'm watching Breaking Bad and he's so kind of just awful,
Yeah.
it's kind of, what are they going to do in the final season of Better Call Saul to kind of transition from this
Yeah. We're
like lovable rogue to basically just a rogue? So I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to
yeah.
see how they do that last season. But I'm worried about what's going to happen to Kim, and
Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to give spoilers,
No,
but
can't do that. We'll get in big trouble. Well, we'll move on to the other thing that we're all doing a lot of. So we're all like sort of locked up or have been locked up or in some various states of being locked up at this point. And so we're reading and we're watching, and most of us are cooking now all the time too. Like everybody's cooking every single meal for people. And like
uh,
for us, that's been kind of great. We all really, my husband, my daughter and I, we all love to cook. And so it's been, it's been very nourishing in some ways, just to be creating together, like, as a family in the kitchen. But like, is there like a comfort meal or like something in your family that you kind of go to? I know you're not like so excited about the kitchen or anything like that, but like, is there like a meal that you all like, okay, when we just need to
yeah.
be like, we've had a day and we need a comfort dinner or a comfort lunch. What is that? Or is there something else that you wanted to talk about?
Well, I guess, I mean, I am probably the world's worst cook, I have to say. And I can...
We have some competition. A lot of folks on this have been like...
Yeah, I mean, I managed to set spaghetti on fire once. I mean, I'm so bad. And I find cooking really stressful because trying to coordinate everything,
right,
it actually makes me feel really stressed.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say that cooking relaxes them, but for me, it's exactly the opposite. No. So I do cook, but it is mainly assembling ingredients or heating things.
Yeah.
So another thing we've been doing in lockdown a lot is drinking, obviously.
Oh yeah.
Well, not everyone is as bad.
Yeah, a little bit of that too.
Yeah, so I'm gonna make a kind of gin-based drink.
You are, like, right now, right? Because it's 6 o'clock for you, and it's
exactly, yeah. It's 6:40 now, and
that's exciting.
7 o'clock would normally be gin o'clock, so I'm slightly early. I've got some ice here, which has been melting while we've been talking.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm gonna and I've got a glass. Now I managed to smash a glass just before I came on with you. So this is my one remaining gin glass. We smash a lot of glasses in this house. So I'm just gonna put the ice in, or kind of off camera, because otherwise I'm basically gonna get water everywhere if I do.
That's fine.
Oh, sorry, I can clean that up in a minute.
It's so funny because so when I was while you're mixing, I'll just tell you that I had I was looking around for like exciting gifts for my husband for his birthday and for my parents, like my mom for Mother's Day, and we wound up coming across these Airbnb experiences. Okay. And it was this jazz piano player and jazz singer in London, and they started their hour mixing a cocktail with you. They like told you what they were going to mix. It was an old fashioned, and then they gave a private jazz performance, and it was really nice. I really enjoyed it so much, and so it's kind of with you mixing a drink, and it kind of that.
Well, I'm not going to play. I can't play jazz, but
okay.
I've got some Roku gin here, distilled in Japan.
Okay. Oops, we've got a little bit of a freeze.
I've got a measuring thing.
Okay, we had a little bit of a freeze, but that's okay. We're
just
back.
Just gonna free pause because it's sunny outside. I need and instead of tonic, I've got bitter lemon.
Oh.
So, this is really nice. I went to like this gin bar locally, and they mixed the drink with bitter lemon instead of tonic, and I thought that's actually really nice. Oh. Do you call it bitter lemon in the US, or do you have a different?
It's like a lemon flavored club soda or a seltzer. What is that? What are these?
I'm not sure what you would call. I mean, it literally says bitter lemon on the front of the box. That's what we call it over here.
Okay, I have not had that.
So it's basically like a sour lemonade.
Okay. Does it sparkle? Is it sparkle?
Yeah. And then I'm going to put a sprig of rosemary on the top.
Wow.
Cheers.
I don't even have.
Sorry, you haven't got a drink.
Oh my gosh, I don't. Well, cheers.
That's really nice.
Wait.
Oh, I forgot the grapefruit. I've got some.
Hold on a second. I'm just going to come right back. Okay.
I've actually got a pink.
Cheers. Let's do it again.
Cheers.
Cheers. Because it's bad luck if you don't have a glass, right?
Yeah, I've got a pink grapefruit here as well, which I've forgotten to cut. So we'll just have to imagine that I've got the grapefruit.
We can imagine that. Perfect.
Yeah. We're writers. We can imagine that kind of stuff.
Yes, exactly. We can do that. We have that superpower. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of that with us. It's been so nice talking to you.
Oh, well, I enjoyed it.
I hope everybody will check out your new book, which just went on sale June 3rd, The House Guest.
Hmm?
And anything that you need to know about Mark it's just markedwards.com. Is that right? Your website?
MarkEdwardsAuthor.com.
markedwardsauthor.com. So anything you need to know about Mark, you can find out there. And thanks for joining us on Three Good
Oh,
Things.
thank you for inviting me.
So
I'm going to enjoy the rest of my drink now.
yes.